Hello everybody, I hope you're having a nice day. I am Moss from Game Host, and today I'm going to tell you the story of a wonderful game developed in 1996, the Neverhood. That's right, it's old, but it's gold. Needless to say, there are major spoilers ahead, but do not make the mistake of thinking that knowing the story will prevent you from enjoying the game if you haven't played it, because it won't. So if you haven't, make sure you put it on your priority list. Alright, let's go. The story of the Neverhood takes place on a land suspended over an endless void. This beautiful and exotic piece of land is made entirely out of clay, as the game is developed in claymation. Everything you see in the game is made of real clay, which is truly fascinating. One of the strange things about this land is that it seems totally deserted. It makes you feel like all of its inhabitants have somehow disappeared, as there are lots of dwellings and interesting places without anyone living in them. The story begins with our hero, who is, interestingly enough, named Clayman. As Clayman, the player has to explore this land, solving all sorts of interesting puzzles with ingenious, deceptively simple mechanics, and beautiful visuals. As you travel further, you are introduced to another character present on the land of Neverhood, the hilarious Willie Trombone, who is going to help Clayman.
Hello! Me Willie Trombone.
Now, during his adventure, Clayman collects pieces of videotapes, which he can put inside and watch on a device. The video shows Willie telling the story of what's happened, and each tape reveals part of the clip. For true enthusiasts about this story, the entire meticulously detailed mythology of the universe in the Neverhood is actually inscribed on the walls of a notoriously long hallway that takes several minutes just to pass through. And you do have to pass through just to acquire a single videotape at the far end of the hall. Really frustrating. As Clayman proceeds to uncover the truth and save Neverhood, we get a glimpse of a third person present on the land who is the villain of the story. His name is Clog, which is a fitting name, really. It makes me think of something that has clogged the toilet. And Clog is just as ugly, dirty, and evil. Once Clayman gets close enough to Clog's base, he and Willie seek help from Willie's automaton friend, Big Robot Bill. As Clayman and Willie board the giant robot and approach Clog's castle, they have to face the villain's guardian, the Clockwork Beast. The giants begin a fierce battle which ends in victory for our heroes. However, things take a sad turn as Clock shoots Robot Bill with a cannon as he's opening the gate and trying to get into the castle. Clayman manages to get inside, but Bill, with Willie inside, falls down and into the void. Before getting into the final encounter, let's see what the actual story behind the Neverhood is. Once Clayman finds all the tapes and puts them into the device, Willie appears with a version of the entire story behind what happened on the Neverhood. At the center of the tale is Hoborg. Hoborg is a kind of god who created the Neverhood because he was sad and alone. But even after creating the land, he still feels lonely and desires a companion, so he plants a seed into the ground. From that seed, Clog is born. Clog, however, is not as friendly as the kind and welcoming Hoborg had hoped. He tries to take Hoborg's crown for himself, but the god forbids him from doing it. That doesn't stop the malicious Clog, however. He eventually manages to steal the crown, and that immobilizes Hoborg like a disabled being. And the act twists Clog's figure into the ugly one that he currently looks like. Without Hoborg, Neverhood stops growing any further and creation comes to a halt. Now, luckily, Hoborg had a brother named Ottoborg. Ottoborg had created Willy and Bill. Willy discovers that Hoborg had another seed he was planning to plant. He takes that seed and plants it in a faraway location. That seed grows into, you've guessed it, clayman. Anyway, back to the final part of the game. Willy gives Clayman the key to the castle's throne room at the end of his video. Something that only happens if all the tapes are acquired. So yes, you're gonna have to travel that endless hallway no matter what. Inside the throne room, Clayman finds Clog and the motionless Hoborg. Clayman gets hold of the crown as Clog tries to tempt him to forget about reviving Hoborg and think about the power he can have all to himself. Here, you as the player are given a choice, each leading to a different ending. You can choose to wear the crown yourself, which does to you what it did to Clog, making you an evil, disfigured creature who claims rulership for himself. Or, you can put it on Hoborg's head against Clog's attempts to stop you, which revives Hoborg.
Yay!
Seeing this, Clog tries to act quickly, but is sent flying out of the castle into the void by his own cannon. Ironic. After that, Hoborg continues his act of creation and populates the Neverhood with other people. But he soon notices that something is still missing. Clayman is sad. Realizing that, Hoborg brings back Willy and Bill, dispelling the last bits of sadness from the world. At the end, we are presented with a joyful celebration of the people and their king, and the story ends with Hoborg talking to Clayman, saying, "Man, things are good." That's it for the summary of this story. If you haven't played this game, I strongly suggest that you do. The atmosphere, the puzzles, the humor, the music, everything is awesome about it. Tell us what you think about this game and the story in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more cool videos.